Hey there! Tired of spending forever seeding nursery trays by hand? Meet the Quick Click Drop Seeder. It makes seeding trays super fast. Just a click and you're done. You can seed multiple trays in no time, making your nursery work way easier. Plus, it works with paper pot trays, microgreens, and any other tray that you have. Say goodbye to tedious seeding and hello to more time on the farm. Join hundreds of other farmers and try the Quick Click Seeder today. Available at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.
Because email is viewed as more of a direct connection to the customer than somebody glancing at a social media post, which I think primarily for a lot of farms is Instagram these days. And where farms, I think, sometimes can get stuck is they're posting stuff, they're building an Instagram following, converting them over to email, getting them to leave the Instagram platform to come onto your platform, your website. What have you found, or what would be some ways you think people can incentivize people to click off Instagram and to click through to your website?
Well, first of all, I'm going to just argue that I don't think that Instagram is necessarily the gateway to sales. I feel like probably the number one way that you're going to get new customers is through referrals. And that's at least what I teach my clients. Does that mean I don't have an Instagram strategy? Of course I do. But I think that what you really want to focus on in the early stages of your business is really wowing your customers, your first customers, over delivering, over serving, giving them an amazing product, so much so that they can't help but talk about it with other people. And maybe even going so far as to give them tools that make it easy for them to share your platform or your business with someone else. Maybe it's, if you're at the farmer's market, for instance, and they just keep coming back and getting your stuff, like you're dropping in a little business card every single time. And maybe there's even an incentive. Maybe there's like a referral coupon code, like refer a friend and get $5 off. Like maybe it's worth actually spending that kind of an investment in order to acquire a new customer, because the people that love your product, they know other people like themselves who will probably love your product too. That's how many CSA farms grow in the early years. It's primarily through referrals. So that's actually where I would argue for people to start.
But how do you get the initial customers to do the referring if you're not at a farmer's market and you're in an area? I mean, there's some sphere of people that you get in, and they can recommend so many people, but eventually like that hits a ceiling. And if you go through your networks and you're at 50, then I think you're turning online because it just is a way to reach people. So how do you get that audience to do the referring?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not just solely relying on referrals, but I think that referrals is probably the number one way that you build your customer base in the early years. But you absolutely should be on social media, because social media I look at social media as kind of my primary awareness building platform and engagement building platform. So in those first couple of early steps of what I call the customer value journey, I'm putting content out into the world that's going to attract my ideal client. So, doing videos out in the field, taking gorgeous pictures of the food that I'm making and what it looks like in my kitchen, taking beautiful pictures of vegetables from the field. Those kinds of things that, even if I Facebook ad them, right? Like those kinds of things are going to draw the eye for the people that are interested in that sort of thing, that value that stuff. And that will pull them in. And then I ultimately start trying to get them to download some kind of a lead magnet, for instance, that maybe my A to Z vegetable storage guide. You get this awesome storage guide. It's going to show you how to store every vegetable. Just give me your email address and we can have it. So those are some of the online strategies that will eventually work on the people that have been watching me for a while. Kind of maybe they've subscribed to my channel, maybe they DM'd me on Instagram, or they watch my stories and they're like, this is so cool. And every now and then I drop this opportunity to grab a download or get on my email list. And eventually, if it's the right person, they'll take that bait and they'll get onto my email list. I will also say that there is a follow-up strategy that I teach people too, like once you get on the email list, they're not just on your email list and that's it. But I actually have created in our business, we've created a onboarding email sequence. And this is like it does go out every week for about 2 months. This is pre-written content that's designed to give away amazing ideas, tips, tricks, strategies, and introduce them to my brand and my products and stories of people who buy my products to help them start to feel like they're a part of my tribe and that they want to maybe be a part of that tribe. And so by the time that's done, that 2-month period, now they've really been exposed to not only my stuff on social media, but they've been getting a weekly email from me for 2 months. That sounds like I'm writing just to them. And if they're my person, they will continue to open those emails. They'll find those emails so valuable that they're actually going to look forward to the next time that I write one. So when that initial like onboarding process is done, then they kind of get switched over to my regular just weekly email that I send to my whole list. That isn't necessarily the onboarding sequence, right? But now they're starting to continue to hear my stories every week. And that's really working well for us.
Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily is part of the Modern Grower Podcast Network. Check out some of our other shows like Carrot Cash Flow, the Growing Microgreens Podcast, and Farm Small, Farm Smart. Learn more about the shows using the link below.